Hey everybody, welcome to Jerk's Corner. I'm Kirk Sherrod. We've got a great show for you today. I can't tell you how excited I am. Come on in, lady. Come on in. Have a seat right here. This is so great. This is Vivian. Scoot over a little bit, Vivian, so we can see you. Okay. There she is right there. I'm going to have to try and squeeze this in a little bit. Can everybody see Vivian?
I see Vivian.
Hi, Vivian.
Perfect.
Hello,
Perfect.
Vivian.
Hi, how's it going?
We have the coolest show today. I'm so excited to do this. Let me get all the preliminaries out of the way just so we can, get right to business. But we want to thank Strider Balance Bikes. They are our #1 sponsor. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything that you do for us. And get your kid on a Strider if they're not already. And if they're on a Strider, just go spend some time with them, because that's what you should be doing, is spending time with your kids. And what a better way to do it than there isn't a better way to do it, is there? Is there a better way to do it than to spend some time riding your bikes with your kids?
Oh, no, that's the way, man.
Any sort of physical activity in general, but yeah, since it's a bike show, we'll go with that.
Thank you, Top Jimmy. Somebody get that guy off the panel quickly. Hurry.
Always a smart ass, man.
Yeah, right on. Okay, you know what? Let's go right straight to Top Jimmy. Top Jimmy's 10 at 10. What do you got for us, Top Jimmy?
Well, like usual, I got a meal plan for you, and as usual, this meal plan is 1,500 calories and balanced perfectly with 50% carbs, 20% protein, and 30% healthy fat. So let's jump right in that. Today for breakfast we got egg white omelets, which is 4 egg whites mixed with a tablespoon of non-fat milk or almond milk, a half cup of any of your choice of veggies. You know, that's where you get to choose what you want. Veggies are freebie, so to speak. You can have as much as you want and any different kinds as you want. A 1 ounce of cheese. Now, if you want to be technical, you could go with low-fat cheese, but I don't really like the low-fat stuff, because usually the low-fat means there's added chemicals that you really don't want. So go ahead and stick with 1 ounce of shredded cheese, your choice of flavor there, except avoid the American cheese, because that is made improperly and is not compatible with the human body. So anything but American.
Does that even contain cheese? Does American cheese even contain cheese?
No, American cheese is not cheese, people.
I don't even know what American cheese is. What does that mean? Because, like, is it cheddar cheese that I buy?
No, there's actually
Why
right.
did they say it was like Iraqi cheese or something? I don't know.
When you go to Subway and they say, what kind of cheese? And you say, what kind? You name them off, and you got American cheese. That stuff's not cheese, okay? It's usually white. It's like plastic. It takes 4 times as long in a barbecuer to melt than normal cheese. So that's because it's not cheese. But anyway, and you got your whole.
Not American.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. I mean, they make it through a series of shortcuts instead of how cheese is properly aged. American cheese is made through a series of shortcuts, and that's the American way. So
that's how I was aged, the American way. Tons of shortcuts. That's why I'm on 5 sticks.
Along with that omelet, let's have a whole wheat piece of toast, and remember those ingredients. It has to start with the word whole. Has to be the first word on your ingredients. And then we're going to include
not H-O-L-E, but W-H-O-L-E.
Right.
Just make sure did that.
Let's make sure we're specific. You bet. And then we're going to have a cup of fruit, which today it's going to be melon. So your choice of melon, cut up for 1 cup.
A whole melon.
Melon.
Just
Melon.
1, Jimmy, or 2?
1 cup of melon.
Oh.
Well, I prefer 2 melons. Two whole melons is always nice, but for breakfast today we're talking about 1 cup. And your drink with your breakfast is 1 cup of almond milk, because again we're trying to keep our dairy servings down. So we already have cheese and a little bit of milk in the omelet today, so we're going to drink almond milk instead of dairy milk.
What are you drinking there, Thomas? I saw you had something to drink there.
Oh.
Is it almond milk?
No, this is milk less coffee.
Good. Straight coffee. Good for you.
Great coffee. That's got to be good. It's got to be good for somebody, not me.
That cup doubles as the pot, so he just pulls it off the top.
That's right.
Look at the size of that. That looks like that's straight out of some movie. What is that cup? Let's see that cup.
Well, it's actually a Disney cup, believe it or not. This is the carvings from the Tree of Life at the Animal Kingdom in the Disney World parks. This is my favorite mug because I can fit all of my addiction in one place.
It's the same size as your head when you put it right there. It's huge.
Yeah, I can't quite swim in it yet, but I dream about it.
Okay, sorry, Top Jimmy. I just had that cup.
Okay. Hey, the mug is awesome. We had to cover the mug. Kirk, if you were on time, you'd have been here while we covered the mug already.
Why do you bring that up? Nobody knew that until you said that.
Sold you out.
No more Top Jimmy.
Go Top Jimmy, man. Dude, you're in rare form today, brother.
Okay, our mid-morning snack is always the same, and that is a protein shake. And remember, that protein shake needs to be at least 25 grams of protein and around 1 gram of carb and 1 gram of fat. Okay? And lunch today is a salad, which is going to be 3 ounces of ham, a half cup of corn, 2 cups of dark greens. We always want dark greens, okay? Iceberg is not as bad as French fries, but is very low on your nutrient pull. So you always want dark greens, heavy in protein, heavy in iron. Dark greens are cancer preventative, so always dark greens. So you got your ham, your corn, your dark greens all mixed into a salad, and your choice of dressing needs to be a vinaigrette. Keep those calories and those fat down. If you have that salad and you dump a bunch of ranch on there, you may as well have had a hamburger or something. Okay. The afternoon snack, this is where you got to get a little creative. Today we're going to go with 2 rice cakes. And these rice cakes, they come in a lot of different flavors. You don't have to have that plain, disgusting cardboard rice cake, okay? Go to your store and try out these flavors. And you can also add a tablespoon of honey to these or some brown sugar. And they're really not that as bad as they sound. And, you know, you've heard horror stories about rice cakes probably.
I like to just put some linoleum paste on mine.
Yeah, there you go. You can do your floor with rice cake.
You know what's disgusting? You know what's disgusting is when people put like tuna fish on them, like canned tuna fish. That makes me want to hurl.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
A slice of oranges.
Oh my God.
No, come on. We agreed to stay away from the oranges and the tuna today.
I don't remember agreeing to anything. This is my show. I don't agree to anything.
Stick with something sweet on those rice cakes. Go with a little bit of honey or cinnamon or brown sugar or a little mixture of all of it. And they're yummy, okay? That'll make them yummy
Can I
for
put
you.
peanut butter on that, or is that a no-go?
You can put peanut butter on it as long as you're an active person, because now we're outside of our calorie range a little bit. But, you know, most people in this forum are active, and you can add a little bit of calorie to it. Peanut butter is a great choice, high in protein, high in healthy fats. But again, watch your peanut butter ingredients. There should be 2, maybe 3 ingredients, meaning peanut butter, vegetable oil, and maybe salt. That's it. That's all that should be in there. If your peanut butter ingredients reads like an encyclopedia, that is not good for you, okay? And it's out there, and I won't call out any names on the show here. But dinner today is something special, not as bad as usually is. We're going to go with sirloin, 4 to 6 ounces of sirloin. Accompany that with some zucchini or some squash, fried in 1 teaspoon of olive oil. And again, we're going to have another piece of wheat bread with our dinner today. And another cup of melons, because once you buy a melon, you don't want that to go bad, so you got to get that eaten. And either water, tea, non-sweetened tea, or another cup of almond milk for dinner. Now again, that's your whole plan, so you can go back and watch the video again and get that down. That's 3 days we've done so far. And if you have all 3 days, there's a nice variant of product there. They're all perfectly balanced. They're all 1,500 calories. And I got to throw in that if you're very active, you want to add a couple hundred calories per 20 minutes of exercise, okay? And that's preferably protein. So you run a couple miles or bike 5 miles, you want to take another protein shake. And the reason we want protein because activities for your biking. You don't want to add anything fatty in there, because if you stick with these balanced meals, your body fat percentage is going to go down and your muscle percentage is going to go up, okay? So that's it. Any questions about the meal plan today?
I can see Rhonda going. Thinking about this. She's thinking about doing a 75-mile bike ride, because I think that's
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
the hash browns and gravy. So
Great.
had to bring.
You're not big.
Do a 75-mile bike ride. You can, if you do a 75-mile bike ride, you can throw some of those fast carbs in there that are usually off limits, like donuts and stuff, because you need that fast-firing energy.
Well, there you go.
So Rhonda's going to ride to Utah so she can have a box full of donuts and some of those half.
Not a box. Just a couple donuts, like an hour or hour and a half before your event. During your event, you should be taking gels and things, but that's a story for another day.
What happened to Rhonda?
I don't know.
she got on her
She's
bike.
gone. She's already off to Utah.
She's like, I can have a box of donuts.
She's halfway here already, man.
She's gonna get a donut and a bike ride. Bam.
She realized she could go do that, and away she goes, man. She's right on top of stuff. You tell her something, and boom, Rhonda's right there. That's funny stuff. Top Jimmy,
Any comments or questions? Yeah.
No,
Okay.
hey, you know what? I just want to just for fun, let's just find out. Thomas, you're our guest today. Will you tell us what you ate for breakfast this morning?
I had a bagel with a little layer of steak on it and an egg, and I had coffee that had all sorts of sugar in it. I had a pumpkin spice latte to accompany it, so you know. we're gonna blow any sort of health things right out of the water right there.
That's good stuff.
Well, steak is healthy. Steak has a bad rap. Steak is a healthy food, as long as you're not covering it in a bunch of steak sauce, which normally has sugar or high fructose syrup in it. An egg is also healthy, but high in healthy fat, so you got to watch your fat intake. But if you're very active, like most bikers are on a bike show, that's actually not that bad of a breakfast. Tell me, was the bagel whole wheat bagel?
I have no idea. However, I'm pretty sure that the pumpkin spice latte blew out of the water any health benefits that breakfast offered me.
Did it have whipped cream on top of it?
What's that?
That one of those where they put whipped cream on top of it?
You gotta have the whipped cream. Come on now. That's not a pumpkin spice latte without the whipped cream. Would you eat a piece of pumpkin pie without whipped cream?
No.
Hey, there you go.
Was your pumpkin spice latte in that mug you got there, or fill the whole mug?
I wish. No, I had to use one of their mugs.
Hey, real quick before I go, I gotta go. I'm at one of my other jobs right now.
No, you gotta go.
That pumpkin spice latte easily doubled your calories for your breakfast. Easily.
That's good.
Right. So you need to go hit your 75-mile bike ride.
All right, I'll go track down Rhonda. Oh, she's already back. That was a fast ride.
I'll catch the rest of the show on the video. I gotta head out. Thanks for having me, guys.
Great job, Jimmy. Thanks for all your help.
Jimmy.
You know, I went to the store the other day and bought some things called bagel thins. Has anybody ever seen those bagel thins?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and they're whole wheat, and they're amazing because I love bagels, but I don't like all the stuff that goes along with the bagels. So I bought those bagel thins, and I make sandwiches on those. Genius. And they're charged twice as much. I don't understand how they do it. They cut the middle out of your bagel, they take all the bagel away, and then they charge you twice as much.
Only in America, baby.
Only in America with American cheese. I can put American cheese on anything, and it's going to be just as good, but stupid. I'm going to put American cheese on it, and it's going to be bad for me. So there. Oh, that's not even good. Okay, hey, I gotta tell you about this lady right here. this is Vivian. Let's move this in.
Hi,
So
everyone.
scoot in here, Vivian, so I can see you. Okay, so this is Vivian. Vivian owns a little restaurant that is right around the corner from us in the park. And let me tell you what, I had a burger the other day from her shop. Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
It was just absolutely phenomenal. It didn't have American cheese on it, did it? No. It had had a patty, had avocados on there, had bacon on there, and all kinds of fresh greens on there. It was amazing. And she makes this food right there in the park in this little tiny restaurant called Ruzio's Grill. Am I right? And it is just it's a fabulous place to go. Now, what I wanted to ask you is, how did you get started in doing restaurant stuff?
Yeah, here's how it started. When I was 14, I had to leave home, so I wound up ending up having to either serve or cook or do something, and so that's how I got started in doing that kind of work. Honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had to leave. So you just started out, and you said, "Well, I guess I'm going to have to go make some money."
Exactly. And so I worked serving, and I worked cooking. I worked in this little 16 diner place. I learned how to cook, and cooking just became this thing that I did for years on end, on top of helping out other people out with their lives, because I spent a lot of time doing that. And so then I started the first cafe I had up on 2300 East and I-80. And that was called the Artist Palette Cafe, and I did breakfast, and I'm very into healthy food because I came from California, so I worked in health food restaurants and all kinds of things, so that's kind of, I learned how to cook in all kinds of different physical problems for people, because you have some people who are lactose intolerant, then you have wheat issues. I mean, it just depends on the individual, so I learned how to handle and fix those things for the person themselves.
Oh, cool. So this is a plug for her restaurant, because I'll tell you what, this place is amazing, and you're never going to hear about it. It's just this little place in the park. It's there, and people love it. I love it. In fact, I don't want her to get busy, because then I can't go in there and chat with her. You know how that works. You want to have those restaurants all to yourself, and you're the only one that knows about it. But then at the same time, you want her to do well and be in business. So is there a way we can do that in between? I don't know. But the interesting thing about Vivian is she's an artist. She's not really a cook. She's an artist, and you can always tell when she puts the burger together or puts sandwich together. She makes these amazing turkey sandwiches too. None of this is Top Jimmy approved, I guarantee that. But she puts these things together, and it just is like it's a piece of artwork, not so much a sandwich, and it's a great place. So Ryan will have to go there. Everybody else.
I that one day, but she was closing up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, we stopped in, but I think you had some stuff you needed to go do, and so you were closing up. So.
I apologize.
So now we gotta do that. So we'll chat about that a little bit. Thomas, I want to talk about your place. This is what I'm all about. I'm all about what you're about. I mean, this is the greatest thing. When I saw you online, I'm like, you know what, Rhonda, we got to talk to this guy, because he's all about what I believe and you wrote the book on what I do. So I want to chat with you. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. Well, I run blogphoto.tv. That's the site, blogphoto.tv. And really what I'm gearing that site to be is sort of a one-stop site that is a place where aspiring bloggers and new bloggers, and even bloggers that have been in the industry for a little bit, can be able to go to and get the resources and access to the tools and the information that they need to help them stand out online. So initially, when I pushed it, when I launched it, the main thing that I was offering were images, were the photos that people can use for their own sites without having to worry about licensing or attribution or any of that stuff, because that's a really difficult and confusing thing to navigate, especially if you're fairly new to blogging, to try to figure out all the intricacies of that so you don't get yourself into trouble. So I offer those. And there's a free gallery there, and then there's an actual membership library that's really inexpensive, so that it can be accessible to people. But then I've also written in the blog side of that about how to develop yourself online and how to position yourself so that you are able to demonstrate your credibility and your authority and your expertise in your content area and be able to stand out. I mean, there are some other things that I'm launching as we continue to go. But that's been the goal, is to really help new bloggers get their feet underneath them so that they can be able to avoid a lot of the mistakes that we make when we start out and really position themselves to stand out online.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's kind of your statement is stand out, right? You want to stand out, and that's a big thing. I mean, it's called the World Wide Web for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worldwide. Anybody can get on there. There's all this information that's accessible to our fingertips. We can just do whatever. But how do you stand out? I mean, how do you stand out online so that you're seen, so you're visible, so you're not wrapped up in the entirety of all that's going on? How do you do that? I mean, can you give us a couple of little tips or something?
Sure, sure. Well, some of the things that I like to talk about. Let me go with two. First of all, one of the things that people try to do when they first get in and they want to try to develop some visibility is they try to go as wide as they can. And they look for as many outlets to try to push their stuff to so they can get it in front of as many eyeballs. And what that does is that dilutes everything that you're doing, so that you don't stand out in any place. You're all over the place, but you don't excel or stand out in any of them. Instead, what you do is you find out, first of all, you find out exactly where your expertise is and where you want to focus, who needs to listen to that, and who's already dealing with similar topics that you can connect with, and you focus and you narrow your focus. Because you pointed out, it's a World Wide Web, but it covers all these different things. And you can stand out in your area if you focus intently on your area of expertise. And then the second part of that, which feeds that as well, is that you make sure that the efforts that you're doing to stand out are cohesive. Because a lot of times what we do is we try to have something going on over here and something going on over here and something going on over here, and they're all autonomous. But if we get those to work together, what we find is that they feed off of each other, and then your efforts get multiplied in that. So, for example, one of the things that I first set out to do in order to try to position Blog Photo TV was I found out, I identified, like I said, my audience and who are those people listening to and where are those people congregating. And then I looked for where all of those things overlapped. So when I began trying to reach out in connections with influencers, I didn't just try to focus on this guy's an influencer and this guy's an influencer and this guy's an influencer. I said, who are these influencers interacting with? And so my first look is I identified 15 people who are all networked together, and I tried to reach out to all 15 of them and build a relationship there. 3 of them within that first month, only about 3 of them that I actually feel like I was engaging with. But over time, because those other people are connected with those 3 as well, I was able to connect in with others also because those 3 leverage that further efforts. So you wind up making your efforts compound on each other. And then I try to connect in with audiences, the audiences that are active in these influencers' communities or are connecting in with these people. And so when I'm connecting in with them, it's not just one point of contact. There are multiple points as well. So you get your stuff to work together. And then on site, you want to make sure that everything that you publish is really high quality, that it's specifically relevant to exactly what you're trying to do, and that you create a good user experience when they're there. You begin to integrate those type of things, and you can start to separate yourself from what a lot of the background noise is that's going on the web.
Okay, so you said, I mean, can you help me with simplifying this? I'm a bike shop owner. I mean,
right, I know. I threw out a lot there.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what you're talking about. So let's just say somebody wanted to get started.
Okay.
In getting themselves more visible and to stand out. What would they do? What's the first step for them? What's the first step for them to do? What would they? Okay. Oh, today I'm going to start working on myself and I'm going to get myself visible online. What am I going to do?
Okay. The very first thing you want to do is you want to make sure, and I should state my assumption. My assumption is that if you're going to focus on wanting to stand out in a particular content area, that you know that content area. Sometimes you have people who try to write about stuff, they have no clue about it. You're not going to stand out there unless you know your stuff. So you focus on an area that you know about. But if we begin with that basis, then we make sure that the content we produce is simple and is high quality stuff. From there, we can then begin to reach out to the people we want to connect with. And
no, you made a really good point, and I have to interject just a little bit.
Go for it.
I'm an expert in bicycle stuff.
Right.
I mean, in a lot of fields of that, but I fall down really badly in my riding skills.
Okay.
So what I did, if you go and look on my website is all about bikes and how do you buy bikes and all kinds of stuff on there. But I actually hired somebody to write the stuff that I'd written. I went back and looked at my website, and I'm like, hey, this is a really cool website. We had it built. It looks really good. And then I started reading it. I'm like, what moron wrote this stuff? And it was me. I was the moron that wrote that stuff. And so then I had to go and I had to get Kritika Ragarajan do it. Kitty on here. I had her write the same concepts that I had on my website. I had her rewrite that.
Right.
So that it could actually describe to everybody else and communicate to everybody else exactly what I meant by what I was trying to put across. If you can't communicate to everybody else out there, you might as well not even put anything on there. So I had a professional writer write that stuff so that it would communicate with the public, and she did a beautiful job of it.
Yeah.
It's amazing what she did with that.
And I think that's huge. And in fact, let me ask a question to clarify. What you're saying is that you had the kind of, you knew what you wanted to talk about. You kind of had that put together, but you brought her in order to make that readable, to take what you had put together and put that into a package that people can receive easily.
Yeah, and we spent
right?
we spent quite a bit of time hanging out online to figure out how to do that, because I have these concepts and these ideas that I want to come across in that verbiage. And believe me, well, maybe you guys know the same thing. It's really hard to take what's in your heart and what's in your mind and put it down on paper or put it onto some verbiage that can communicate and convey that to everybody else. And that's key.
I absolutely. And I think what you just said is big, because people that don't want to write do one of two things. Either they write and they put a bunch of stuff up that just isn't captivating, right? And if it's not captivating, you're not going to capture an audience. So they either post it as that is, and they're not gaining any traction, or they go completely off here and they just hire somebody else to write it entirely and let them go. And what you've done is you've identified this middle thing so that you can still retain your unique brand and your voice with this, but you can have somebody who knows what they're doing, who can take what you're doing, keep your brand intact, and then be able to produce that and be able to present that as well. And that's important, because if you just simply get Joe Smo as a writer and say write about stuff dealing with bikes, you're not developing your brand at all.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan's good at that. Ryan's good at developing his brand. He's Lightning Pawn, and he's all about trying to let people understand that it's okay to come into a pawn shop and you don't feel like you're out of your element. Yeah. And he's really good at allowing people and communicating that to people so that they can come in and not feel like they're completely out of their element, and they don't have to feel nervous about it or feel like they're out of place to borrow some money or to sell something.
And he's very effective in how he's done that. In fact, I was just sharing this with the two of them earlier, but I just got back from the Florida Blogging Conference. And at the conference, which is one of the largest blogging conferences in Florida, at the blogging conference, Carolyn Capern and Greg Trujillo gave a presentation on Google Plus and Google Hangouts. And in that presentation, they gave some examples that talked about what are some creative ways that people are using Hangouts that are sort of outside the box. And one of the ones that they listed was the Pawn or Die show, the Lightning Pawn. So at this point, his brand he's established that enough that I'm sitting at a blogging conference that isn't tied into, that isn't connected to what we're doing here at all, and he's still showing up on there because he's made an impact on people within the industry in the creative ways that he's doing that. So that sort of creativity, I think, is really powerful as well.
Yeah. And it could have had something to do with the kilts that they were wearing when Carolyn and Greg were on the show. Maybe. Just saying.
And kilts, you know, you can't go wrong with them. So.
Can't go wrong unless you fall down the stairs.
And then you can go way wrong. Then it can go very wrong. Yes.
Oh, you just had to bring that up.
I had to.
Yeah, and they're very breezy. Those kilts. Just saying.
Maybe it was a weather report.
Oh, the weather.
It was a bit blustery that day, wasn't it? Oh, that's funny stuff. Yeah, back in the day. And now we just have boring shows now. I don't know. They're not boring anymore. I think we got too busy. That's the thing, you know, to be.
Well, the thing is, I'm not in the comments to pick on you anymore. I'm here, so I need to pick on you more. That'll be my project for this week, is to pick on the two of you. In my
we need to invite hecklers into the audience. That's what you need.
Oh yeah, we don't need to invite any. They're already there. I tell you.
Yep.
We don't need to invite any more. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're here. Scott Taylor's here.
I got one more question for you. Do you have any? Why? I have this. I have a little bit of understanding about blogs.
Okay.
My understanding for me is that you need a blog. That's about my limit of understanding. So, will you tell us why do we need a blog? I mean, I know you got it because everybody tells me that, and we try and take the show and turn it into a blog and then put it on their website. And I think I understand why that we do that. But will you tell us why we need a blog?
Sure, and particularly now, because I think marketing's changing. It used to be this idea of broadcasting and consumer, so there really was not this engagement that was going on. Somebody would publish something and other people would read it. Blogging and social media, as I think the two are interconnected, has changed that. And what we've done is we've begun creating communities. And the heart of what you're doing in terms of developing your authority, in terms of building relationships, requires that sort of community engagement. Blogs allow for that. They also create an opportunity for you to consistently showcase your own expertise and to demonstrate your helpfulness to people. And so when you're beginning to do that on a consistent basis, you earn trust, you earn credibility. And then that trust, you can begin investing that in people. You can spend that in ways that lead to relationships that convert. Your trust is really what you're building in the course of your blogging and your social media. That's your goal, trust and credibility, which is what builds your expertise and your authority.
Okay. Now that makes perfect sense to me, and I didn't understand that part of it before. But now, by accident, surely by accident, and happenstance and my own really strange way of doing things, we are doing exactly that. I've got something coming up that I've been working with an artist and with Kitty on. She's going to do some blogging, writing for me, and maybe you can help me. Maybe you can help me go in the right direction, and I'll tell you what we're doing.
Okay.
So we've created a celebrity, and the celebrity's name is Cludge Knuckle Jones. Now, Cludge Knuckle is this backward kind of crazy guy who makes all of the mistakes that I've ever seen in my shop and in biking.
I love it. Yeah.
This guy makes every mistake. He is so predictable making mistakes that you could bet on him in Vegas. Because if he's going to make a bad choice, it's going to happen every time. So he's this guy. And we have a cartoon caricature, which Rhonda's going to post up so everybody can understand what's happening. But he is this kind of lanky, goofy-looking cyclist type guy who's all into cycling, but makes all of the wrong choices. And what we're going to use that for is a teaching tool to say, don't be a kludge. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Don't be that person that makes all of those mistakes. And so by making fun of Cludge Knuckle Jones, we're going to teach people how to be better at at cycling and better at fixing their bikes and better at all of those things that I see every day that come in here. You wouldn't believe some of the stuff I see. You wouldn't believe it if I told you. But we're going to tell you, and through Clutch Knuckle Jones.
Right.
Yeah. Now, what I'm asking, maybe you can help me. What's the best way to go about doing that? I have this celebrity. I've got a caricature of him already, and I have somebody to write about it. You gave me a really good idea about being consistent and being precise. I think that's really key. Is there any other ideas you might have for me to?
You know what would be fun? What you've done is you've created a personality, right? You've created this sort of pseudo-personality. And one of the first things that comes to mind to me that I think would be a lot of fun and would really build some engagement with this is to make him like a real person, right? So give him a profile or a page on social media that is Clutch Knuckle Jones. And I'll tell you, one of the great things, I don't know if you've noticed recently, Christine DeGraff has been doing this experiment with a profile for her dog. Have you seen how that's been developing?
Yeah, that's how I got the idea. Actually.
Yes, and what she's done is she's obviously, we know that Bandit is not writing this stuff, but it's done as if it was Bandit. It's done from the perception of Bandit. We've created this personality for Bandit and this way that Bandit is now engaging with people, and people are eating it up. Like, they're loving this stuff. He's selling T-shirts, right? Bandit is selling. This dog is selling T-shirts, which is really stinking cool. So you could create a persona for Clutch Knuckle Jones, and you could have things like, he could ask questions for people and see what type of response.
Peanut butter sandwiches, or.
Yeah, he could do things. He could have he could share his stories of the adventures of Clutch Knuckle Jones and something that he's done that day, and talking about that. But what you would want to do with that is figure out where are your cyclists, okay, or the people who are interested in cycling. Because if I understand, this is particularly targeting. This is not targeting professional cyclists. This is targeting people that are at the very early stages, that are trying to learn about bicycling and really don't know yet what they're doing. Is that correct?
And also people who are cyclists who do know what they're doing, because this is going to be damn funny.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just all there is to it. It's going to be funny. People are going to look at that, especially if they're in cycling. They're going to go, "Oh my goodness, I've done this," or "I've seen this before." "Oh, this is hilarious." That's what I'm looking for.
Yes, and so really building that profile and finding the places where those cycling enthusiasts of all levels are hanging out.
Okay.
And connecting with them. I'm trying to think of some other creative ways, but I love the idea, and I love the idea of the adventures that he kind of goes on, and as he shares. You know the roaming gnome?
Yeah.
Remember the roaming gnome? Right. So he would go on these adventures, and he would run into all of these mishaps at these adventures that were, gnomish mishaps. And those mishaps became part of the enjoyment of the saga of the roaming gnome. You could tap into things like that as well. Where is Clutch Knuckle Jones today as he does his, cross-country cycling debacle? So there's a lot of different things that you can pull from in terms of inspiration and ways to go about that.
I agree. That's great advice. Thank you. That really helps me. I was kind of struggling with, what do you do next? I've got this idea. I've got these things. What do I do next? I needed somebody that was a blogger to kind of help me with that. Oh, we got a call. Of course, on the bat phone here. Thank you for calling. This is Jerk's Corner, and this is Kirk Sherrod. How can I help you today?
Scott Taylor would like to know what's the connection between the blog and Google Hangouts.
Oh, good question. Yeah, Thomas, do you want to field that question?
Sure. Well, there's two ways that he could be asking this question. He could be asking how we interact between the two, or how we lead from Google Hangouts to the blog. So let me kind of try to approach both of those. The main thing that Google Hangouts does is it allows you to be visible with your with the the people that you're trying to build relationships with. Because when you're still behind a wall of text, you can catch glimpses of their personality, you can interact in some ways that are helpful. But what this does, this sort of visual connection, is it creates a human element to this relationship. So I'm not an idea anymore. Now I have a face. Now we're interacting in real time. And in the midst of that, you can still begin to showcase. You can begin to showcase your expertise, showcase your humor, become a real person, and develop that relationship. Now, the idea...
That personality comes across. Remember we were talking about earlier about having Kitty write something that would be like me. We had to spend all this time so that she could write it so it sounds like me. Google Plus, where that personality comes through in the video, you can see who you are. There's no hiding.
Right. My focus, my main platform is Google Plus. So my focus is to connect with people here and to continue to connect with them in ways where I'm able to be a resource with them, and then lead them from here to my own site. Now, I lead them from here to my own site through the articles that I publish on my site and then share on Google Plus. And whenever I do that, I actually promote the article ahead of time and like the evening before I'm going to, if they want to be notified when that article goes live, they can leave a comment or a plus it, and I put them in a special notification circle. That continues to connect people. When they're part of that notification circle, they're notified anytime my article goes live. The Hangout allows me to make that connection so that we can hopefully begin to develop some sort of an ongoing relationship. And a lot of those relationships develop in the social platform because of how agile it is, and we carry that over to the site and continue to build it from there.
Yeah, good
I hope
stuff.
that answered the question.
If not, Scott pose another question, but I think that's what he was shooting for. I know Scott, and I think that's what he was looking for. What's the connection? How do you make those two work together? He's a real estate agent. He lives in California and Las Vegas, and does real estate in both places. And I think he's looking for some tips and tricks for him in his real estate.
Gotcha.
business.
So for real estate, for example, you want the audience that you're trying to connect with. You want them to know that you know what you're talking about in real estate. So when you are engaging with Hangouts on Air, and we have this medium where people can pose questions live, right? Which is fantastic, and you can deal with that live. You want people to be able to trust you. That's huge, especially in real estate, right? You want people to know that you know what you're talking about, so that so that they can trust you. And you want people to be able to connect with your personality so that they like doing business with you. You're able to get that across in here. And for real estate, you could do Hangouts where you address common questions or concerns with the real estate industry and things along those lines where, again, you're now the expert in these fields and you're able to connect with people that are wanting to know more about that. So that would be an example of a way that you could really apply that to real estate.
Yeah, good stuff. That's very helpful. I'm sure he'll be happy about that. So, Thomas, thank you for coming on the show. This has been really great. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I've enjoyed this. You guys cracked me up.
This is fun stuff. This is just fun here, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna have. And thanks for pointing out your mug, because that's really cool stuff. See, now everybody gets to know that you have this favorite mug, and they know a little bit more about you. That's really fun. That's part of the fun for me. I get to have people on the show and get to learn about who all these new people are that are.
I collect unique mugs. So I have this is my favorite, but I have other ones like my second favorite is actually a Harry Potter one that has the Marauders map wrapped around it. You know, I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. That's probably my second one. That's another neat one.
I think I'd like to see a blog about that mug.
A blog about this mug, huh?
Yeah, that'd be good. I think that'd be good. That's your favorite mug. You could blog about it.
It is my favorite mug, and I'm sure if I think about it, maybe I can come up with a good metaphor that connects this in with creating content and developing a web presence. We'll see. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for upcoming blog muggings.
Yeah.
Blog muggings. There you go.
I'm all about. I think you should call it a blug.
A blug. There. Okay, there you go.
It's a blug. And then people will be like, what's a blug? This is guy isn't even talking about. Well, it's a blog about a mug, and you're just going to talk about all these different mugs that you found.
There you go. That could be a blog in and of itself. Yeah.
Traveling all around the country, getting new mugs from new places and blogging about it.
But there's nothing like drinking coffee out of your favorite mug. You can drink coffee out of a million mugs. It's just nothing like drinking coffee out of your favorite mug.
Yeah. I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes. Good stuff. Rhonda, anything from you, lady?
Yes. Can you shout out your website? Give out the URL one more time.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas?
Yeah, it is blogphoto.tv. blogphoto.tv.
And it's a beautiful website, by the way.
Yes, it is. It is really beautiful. Ryan, you got anything for us?
After all, it's all about this. So,
it's all about the base.
Let's just not forget about what we're all here for, okay?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I thought you were gonna. If you got your dollar there, I want you to show off your dollar.
Oh, let me go get my dollar. It's over here, Matt. This dollar, Kirk brought this dollar back for me from Vegas when he was down there last week. And
Okay.
hold on one second. Let me go get this thing, okay?
This is kind of funny. We went to the famous gold and silver pawn in Vegas.
Right. Okay.
And, Pawn Stars. Everybody's seen the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they had. I'll tell you what. The place it's amazing in there. It's a pawn shop, but it is a tourist attraction, and it was full of people. And it was a gift shop. I mean, you could buy T-shirts and hats and fridge magnets and shot glasses. And then this really caught my eye. I thought this was something. It's a dollar bill with the old man's face on it. And they just appliqued his face right onto a dollar bill. Now,
hey, that's some good cut and paste right there.
Here, bring it up again so we can actually see it in the main screen. I could see it in the timeline, but I wasn't able to see it on the main.
So here's the funny thing about this dollar. My whole entire entrepreneur career, my whole life about money has always been about trading small money for bigger money. And I've been trying to rack my brain and see if there was a time I traded big money for small money, and I'm having a really hard time figuring out a time I've ever done that, except for when I went to Vegas and bought this dollar. It was $10. I took $10 and traded it for $1. I've never done that before.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Here's $10, and they gave me $1 back. I don't know.
It goes against everything that you've ever been taught, dude.
It really does. It really goes against everything I've ever been taught. But, of course, I wanted to buy it for you because you're my friend and I want to give it to you. But at the same time, the logistics of it were trading $10 for $1. If you did that all day, Ryan, you'd go out of business.
Absolutely. But you know what? This thing has been... I've had this in my case, okay? I put it in my coin case, and it's not for sale, okay, because it was a gift. It's not for sale. But I've got people coming in here every day bugging me to buy this stupid thing, okay? And it's flabbergasting to me, okay? I mean, but only in America can we sell a buck for $10. Okay?
Or have bacon American cheese.
But what a neat idea. I mean, that's all they've done is they've taken it and they've altered it in a creative way, and now people are willing to.
But it's not.
It's times the worth of it.
It's done very, very well. So obviously it's not illegal because they're not defacing the money, but the colors that they use for the old man's head, it's spot on, man. It doesn't look like it's been pasted on, does it, Kirk?
Right.
No, it looks really good.
Yeah, so.
What I'm thinking we should.
Thank you, Kirk. This is a great gift. I love this thing. So.
I'm thinking what we should do is, do you remember those pictures of mine or crack? Maybe what we should do is have some crack dollars.
Crack dollars, dude.
Well, there's a late night project for me right there.
Yeah. I want to get the Burger King $5 bill.
Oh no.
Not Abraham Lincoln with the 2 burgers.
Oh yeah. That's good stuff. Oh man. Hey, it's been a pleasure having you guys on the show. I really do appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, and thank you for telling us all about what you're doing, because that is some cool stuff. Rhonda's got to go. I got to go. We got to shut the show down. Thank you to Cali Protectives. They're one of our sponsors. Thank you so much for all you do for us. Great helmets. Please wear one. Don't hurt. And Strider Balance Bikes. We always appreciate everything that they do. And get out there on your balance bike with your kids. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the show. Bye-bye.
Bye.